Hello, my beautiful reader friends. It's Tiffany with an IE, as you can see. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I will be doing a short spoiler-free review of The Mary Shelley Club by Goldie Moldavsky. And thank you to Colored Pages Blog Tours for choosing me to be a part of this book tour and and Henry Holt for sending me an e-arc so I could read this early and review it. And I really enjoyed this book. I gave it 4.5 stars, so 5 on Goodreads. But yeah, it was really great. Definitely super atmospheric. Some parts I was like, oh, this is getting kind of scary. And yeah, definitely near the end it started to amp up, and yeah. So this is about a girl named Rachel. She has something traumatic happen to her at her old school, so she moves to sorry about the noise. She moves from Long Island to New York City to start over at this fancy school, private school, Manhattan Prep. And she feels like an outsider until she meets these students who are in this like secret club, which kind of has like secret society vibes, called the Mary Shelley Club. And they pull off these like elaborate pranks that are called fear tests. And yeah, and most of them are kind of like revenge on people who have bullied them or whatever. And at first it's really fun, but then, as I said, things start to amp up, and then it starts getting deadly, and Rachel has to figure out, like, is it worth staying in this club, or, you know. So yeah, that's the basic synopsis of it. And then I just wanted to recommend some books based on it. But yeah, I really loved all like the twists and turns and everything. So definitely, if you like the Mary Shelley Club, which comes out on April 13th, which I've already pre-ordered, you might like some of my recommendations, or if you like any of the books I'm recommending, you might like the Mary Shelley Club. So yeah, let's just get started. So I mentioned the secret society aspect, and also kind of Rachel has to really try to get into the secret club because they're like, they think she's kind of sus and they won't let her in at first. So the first book that this reminded me of was The Disreputable History of Frankie Landau Banks by E. Lockhart, which I really love this book, and I wish I had a copy. I need to buy one. But yeah, I've also read 2 of E. Lockhart's other books, but yeah, this one is one of my favorite ones. Has a secret society. The main character, Frankie, her boyfriend, is in this secret society, and it's only for guys, so of course she can't get in, but she infiltrates it. And she's the mastermind behind all the elaborate pranks. But of course it doesn't get deadly, but the stakes do get higher. So this was, I think, the most similar in vibes and different aspects, like the secret society aspect and the pranks aspect, to the Mary Shelley Club. My next recommendation also has a secret society, but also has more fantastical elements. But it is Legendborn by Tracy Deonn. There's also, at the beginning of this book, the main character, Bree, goes through some trauma, which is also kind of similar to Rachel in the Mary Shelley Club, where she's experienced some trauma at the beginning of the book. But yeah, so Bree infiltrates the secret society, where it turns out that all the people in the secret society are like descendants of King Arthur. And yeah, and there's some crazy battle and conspiracy coming up, and she's just trying to find out who like murdered her mom. So yeah, but they say that in the prologue. Yeah, so this is very like high action, fast paced. The twists and turns are also just as shocking. It's a thicker book. I definitely recommend the audiobook because the narrator is able to pronounce the different Welsh words in this book. But yeah, this was amazing. I gave it 5 stars when I read it. So yeah, this is definitely another good pick. Another book, so this one I picked because Rachel constantly calls herself a monster throughout the Mary Shelley Club, and then later on she says that some of the members are also monsters. And yeah, so that whole theme of like who's the monster, like, and they also talk about the original Frankenstein book where Victor Frankenstein, or Dr. Frankenstein, who was the scientist who created the creature, was more of the monster than the actual creature was. So there's all that woven throughout. So for this recommendation, I chose The Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. And yeah, this one has actual monsters in it, which are created from humankind's sins. And yeah, so this one, of course, is like a bit more fantastical, but definitely like the dark and gritty vibes were there. So yeah, I think if you like this, you might like Mary Shelley Club, or if you like Mary Shelley Club, you might like this. And Victoria Schwab is amazing. This series of hers is kind of more underrated, and more people like some of her other more popular series, but this was the first book I read by her, and I really enjoyed it. So another 5-star read. Okay, I have 2 more books. One of them, or this next one, I was like, okay, all these characters are terrible, and it has murder in it. And at parts, I was like, the characters in Mary Shelley Club, you kind of like, you think you know them, but then you don't. And then I'm like, these people are all terrible, and there's also murder. So yeah, my next recommendation is The Secret History by Donna Tartt. Most people know about this book already. I actually read this in college, and it's really well written and has some cult vibes. But yeah, I think if you haven't read this already, please read it. It is amazing. You will probably despise everyone in it except maybe the main character. He's okay. But yeah, pretty much everyone else is quite despicable. But yeah, so if you like this, you might like Mary Shelley Club, or if you like Mary Shelley Club, you might like this. And my last recommendation, this one has murder mystery and Agatha Christie sort of aspects in it, and it also is a bit fantastical, and kind of reminds me a bit of Clue, which is funny because in the Mary Shelley Club there was a Clue reference, and I laughed. It was great. I was all for it. So The 7.5 Deaths of Evelyn Hardcastle by Stuart Turton. This one is kind of like also kind of psychological and fantastical in some ways, but yeah, this one's described as Agatha Christie meets Groundhog Day, and the main character wakes up every day in the body of a different host, and he has to solve this murder mystery of who killed Evelyn Hardcastle before the week is up, because if he doesn't, then it starts over and his memory is wiped, and any clues that he's collected will be wiped as well. So yeah, very high stakes, high tension. It's really fast paced as well. And it's just like mind blowing, like so much. Like, this is such a smart book. But yeah, highly recommend this as well. Another 5 stars. Same with this, also 5 stars. But yeah, so basically everything here that I've recommended, including the disreputable history of Frankie Landau Banks, they all got 5 stars for me, and so did well, technically the Mary Shelley Club got 4.5 stars. But yeah, highly recommend. Let me know if you pick up any of them. And yeah, that's it for this review and book recommendation video from me. So yeah, we'll chat in the comments down below, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!